Okay. Go here, just get this on some places real quick here. Get this on. Let's see here. This. Had to get this on different platforms, stuff like that. It's a pain in the ass in a lot of ways. I apologize for that. And that is not. Wait. Go here. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. Etc. Tell you if things aren't working because they should be. Amazon strike. What does everybody think? Because we're going to get into different sides of it as well. Let's see. Let's see, I can see that that's not proper strike. With that strike here, we're going to get into the nitty gritty here. Let me just hooking everything back and forth between computers and stuff like that. Let's get into it, people. Yeah. We're going to look at Aussie here because I went on different sites. I went to JLR Investigate, stuff like that. And, of course, they're all pissed and stuff like that. And they don't know the workers' side of the story. And when you hear their side of the story, you're going to think differently. And, of course, me saying some things on JLR, they don't listen to me. I mean, listen, JLR I got mad respect for. I do for JLR Investigates, I do. But there are some times that I'm right and stuff like that. And I think, me saying that they didn't know what they were talking about with these drones and UFOs and stuff like that. I could have worded things differently and say that they were going to get the right, news from them. I have a lot of respect, utmost respect, because they do some of the best investigative work that there is. It's just when it comes to drones, UFO stuff, they don't know what they're saying sometimes. They don't know the classified stuff that I do. So I went here, because I already saw some of this. Leave a like. Tell me what you think about this, everybody. We're going to get into this here.
Happening.
Shop great deals now
Look at this.
on Amazon.
Wow.
Every package we deliver
Deliver
with pain and suffering.
This
Yeah.
is my third holiday I'm giving to Amazon. I haven't been around for Thanksgiving or Christmas.
It's constant speed up for the holidays.
It's like twice as dangerous, I would say, because everyone's
Damn.
moving twice as fast and there's twice as much work.
Every horror story you read about Amazon is true, but worse. And that is why I made
True,
it.
but worse. Wait, so instead of pissing in bottles, you just piss on yourself? Yeah, what is it?
I wish he'd shut the fuck up on that, dude. I ain't like that. When he said that, it's like, there's things I love about Aussie baby here, Osmond Gold, and, you know, there's stuff that I don't agree with and stuff. He can be funny at times, but there's...
What's that mean?
For the strike.
Workers at the only unionized Amazon warehouse are going on strike during the company's busiest season.
Ultimately, Amazon only speaks one language, and that's money. We're going to hit them where it hurts until they decide it's time to come to the table.
Workers with the ALU plan to...
Actually, it was just a funny, it's how bad things could be there. You just piss on your, okay,
strike the JFK 8 facility on Staten Island later in December.
What do they
We
want?
can't wait anymore.
We're not joking around here. Right now, it is peak season at Amazon. It's Amazon's most profitable time of year.
Well,
Yep.
it's pretty typical of Amazon to call mandatory overtime every holiday season.
They've been asking for us to work 11.5-hour days, 5 days a week.
With the lunch break.
That's a lot.
How
Yeah,
many-
that's a lot.
Hold on, wait a
For
minute.
us to work 11.5-hour days, 5 days a week.
With the lunch break.
That's a lot.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
Fuck Amazon. At that point, I'd say, fuck you,
To a
bitch. I'm
12-hour
doing
and
it anyway.
30-minute shift, so you're there majority of the day, majority of the week.
They have no right to demand that of their workers.
Of course, I'd be
when
fired, but...
they could fulfill those same roles with voluntary extra time and surge pay for the workers that want to take it on.
And like he's about to say, and I've said too, this is... all these workers and stuff like all these places is going to be replaced by robots and automation and stuff like that, which is, it should be illegal. What Amazon does, Bezos, I hate Bezos because it's with the World Economic Forum and such. I hate the guy. Just corrupt billionaire. But what they do to workers is total BS and abusive at times. Let's go.
Workers say peak season exacerbates existing safety issues.
I think that they're making a really good point, to be honest.
Yes.
Amazon doesn't want to pay people like higher wages to get them to work, and so they just force everybody to do it anyway on like a categorical basis. I think that really sucks.
It does. It does. It's
yeah,
total
that's
bullshit.
really shitty.
It's like if you're working during the fucking holidays and stuff, you're happy with family, friends, they better up the ante in pay. They better up the pay for that. You know?
It's extremely chaotic, especially at that time. Management is really looking to push numbers.
Yeah, of course.
That means cutting a lot of corners, bending the rules, pushing conditions that are unsafe.
I mean, a lot of times the conveyor belts get backed up, so you're packing boxes, but you can't even put them on the conveyor belt. You're forced to build up stacks of boxes around you. There's no room on the floor to walk. Yeah, just safety hazards everywhere.
Despite
The silver lining for this is that I think this is going to be a job that will be 80 to 90% automated sooner than later.
Which should be illegal.
Like right now, this is a growing pain of technology. And I feel like, because I mean, nobody wants to work in a place like that. It probably sucks.
I would not mind. I would not mind. I want a good job. I wouldn't mind doing that. I would not mind doing that whatsoever. But the abuse and stuff that goes on in these warehouses and stuff like that and everything, you know, there'd be a point. I know people that have worked at, you know, Rite Aid warehouses and other warehouses. Some like it, and some, they say you just go on for miles and miles of walking, in these huge distribution centers. It's hard to find anything, and it takes a toll on the body that other workers don't know. You know, not just mentally but physically and stuff like that. And trying to find items in a huge distribution center with millions of square feet. It's I don't know how they do it, and unless you have one of those, carriage machines, forklift type machines to get around it or something. It's terrible. I knew one lady that worked at Rite Aid, and it's like she just gave people the finger on the way out. Some of them, because of the stuff that's happening there, and but it's a job. The thing is, I think a lot of automation and how jobs are being cut with AI, whether it's computer companies, gaming companies, in which they can just take people's voices and content, use it for themselves, or whether it's this in distribution centers, Amazon, Rite Aid, CVS, etc., 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 electronic companies, computer companies. There needs to be laws to protect the workers because we need jobs. Not these stupid robots or AI. People need them. And we've seen tens of thousands of jobs, 50,000 plus 100,000 probably by now, cut to AI and stuff like that, where billionaires just want to keep making their billions and at the cost of jobs and everything, or giving jobs to illegals, that you could pay them a lot less. So you have to protect the American worker and everything.
Sucks working there. And I feel like that's just better for everybody, honestly.
No, it's not.
Only 36% of warehouse workers in 2022. Amazon was responsible for 53% of all injuries in the warehouse industry.
Amazon is fine.
Amazon employed 36% of the U.S. warehouse workers. The company was responsible more than half.
Yeah. So let's look here. Okay, warehouse hours was there 39,000 injuries in 2020. Wow. Holy shit. 39,000 injuries in 2022. While Amazon employed 36% of all U.S. warehouse workers. That's huge. In 2022, the company was responsible for more than half of all serious injuries in the industry.
Wow.
So that's all distribution centers from other companies, all other warehouses. That's huge. Over half. So this is why the workers are pissed off. And, like I said on JLR Investigates, there's a good reason why these workers are just leaving. Because they're not being heard. And these stupid idiot billionaires, multi-millionaires, don't give a shit about the workers. They don't. They're not listening. They're not getting compensation for having to do all this extra work. And we're not just talking holidays, we're talking overall.
Well, I wonder if the term was responsible, does this mean that they admitted fault, or does it just mean that they were responsible as in the accident happened at their company?
Right.
But because I don't know if this is, I'm not sure about this.
That's a good question.
Let people
found at fault?
die.
Yeah, if they're found at fault, then that's really bad.
Tornadoes and any kind of...
Yeah, if they're found at fault, that says a lot too. If they weren't or whatever, that says a good amount too. So
natural disaster for their profits. And
this happened recently, and there was also, I think it was a flood too, but I think it was a different. No,
yeah,
it was a different place. Not Amazon. Never mind.
As Amazon workers,
this is a tornado.
North Carolina. Yeah, Carolinas.
and we're not going to take it anymore.
Workers at the JFK 8 Amazon warehouse on Staten Island.
The problem with a strike like this is that the people that work in these fulfillment centers, it's probably a really easy job. And I think that strikes become less effective the easier it is to replace.
It's not an easy job. It's easy for someone to say that hasn't worked in these warehouses. It's very easy for them to say, but when you work in these warehouses, and I've been inside some of these before, I've seen the inside and stuff like that. So you're talking about millions of square feet. You're going miles at a time, walking back and forth sometimes to get items for customers. Some of them do. And if you don't have like one of these forklift machines, then your body takes a toll, physically. All those hours, 12 hours, at least 12 hours at a time. So, it's crazy.
Somebody, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything, right? Yeah, they're easy to replace.
That's the problem.
To unionize in 2022, but they still don't have a contract.
Amazon is pretending like it never happened.
Their stance is we don't exist.
And they ignore everything from the NLRB.
And right now they're in federal court arguing that unions are unconstitutional.
That's going to piss everybody off. That's going to get unions to go in there. You do bullshit like that, they're going to go in and say, F you, Amazon, we're going to even hit harder. That's going to cause them to attack even harder. Never mind how the old days, the mob was always in on these, Teamsters and all these unions and stuff like that. I don't know how much they are involved in stuff now, but where there's money to be made, it's like that's where the mob is and stuff like that. And I was talking. Well, I wasn't talking. I was just made a post on there at JLR, and how unions are good for everybody. It's not always so. There's a lot of corruption in a lot of unions. I've seen it firsthand. I've had, some higher ups in unions tell me how they give preferential treatment to their friends and stuff like that. So I know firsthand about corruption in unions, but they are needed as well. I'm a strong proponent of unions as well, but there's some stuff I don't like them involved in and getting their ugly noses in. And she said, of course, her husband was a top ranking guy in the union, so that says a lot where she's coming from. She's on one side, and get preferential treatment, of course. You're gonna love unions, There's good and bad.
Well, that kind of nips the problem in the bud. Yeah. So you've got a problem with unions, well, just get rid of unions. Yeah, problem fucking solved. Shit.
Amazon
is
abuse. One of the wealthiest companies in the world. They can keep us in court for the rest of time. The only thing that
they got billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars to spend in these courts to keep unionization happening. But the thing is that they can't exactly stop it if they force it on them. If the workers force it on them either, so
that will get them to negotiate a union contract with us is impacting their bottom line.
We've pledged several hundred workers so far to participate, and we're still working and organizing.
I don't think it's crazy for Amazon to pay a bit more on the holidays
it's not.
And to make it optional.
They should pay a lot more. They should pay a lot more for what the workers go through and stuff like that. And I gotta say, I've stopped getting stuff from Amazon because some of them do not ring my doorbell. I'm hard of hearing and stuff like that. And I don't know. they don't follow directions. And if anything gets stolen, I tell them it's going to be on them. If they don't read the doorbell, and I'm right here by the freaking door, and they don't knock or ring the doorbell, and I'm doing something else here, they need to tell me. So I'd be pissed off, and I told customer service guy, not only that, but Amazon Video I hate. They censor some movies as well. So there's stuff I call crapazon and stuff with censoring different movies, stuff like that. And putting ads in the movies, and how I could make different videos about this, how Amazon and all these different companies want to control us by buying streaming videos. We're talking about anime, movies, other media like that. They don't want us to own physical copies. They don't want us to own stuff. And this is by design. These are their plans. They don't want us to own stuff. They want, to own us and how we see things and stuff like that. When it comes to games, anime, or movies, if you look and see how hard it is on Amazon to buy DVDs, Blu-rays, games, sometimes, not so much games, but movies. It makes it hard for you to search, to buy physical copies. They want to own how the way you look and search through things by making it almost impossible to buy a physical copy. Never mind that a lot of them are overpriced. A lot of Amazon also, yeah, it is. So I make homemade pizza as well. Now, Chef Boyardee, that's how you really pronounce it in Italian, Boyardee, not Boyardee, Boyardee. Okay? Just need to learn this. Boyardee, Boyardee and stuff. So it's like one of those boxes, all right, $3.49 at Walmart. I buy it from Amazon. It could be $22 from these sons of bitches. And they overprice a lot of things, whether it could be toilet paper, Kleenex, or other products, decongestants, which I don't even look anymore, overpriced. And I wasn't getting these products. I was getting ripped off from Amazon. If I could get my money back from stuff that I wasn't getting, I was having a lot of trouble. So you have also delivery people. They're stealing our stuff as well. Okay, I would never get items. It's like them putting ads into movies and stuff that we watch. We pay $14.99 for these mother effers. And they're putting ads in that stuff. It's like, fuck you. It's like, you're not even worth it. You're not worth $14.99. They want to put up to $69 or more to have no ads. And still, you go in some places, they still have ads in them. So they're ripping off us, the customer, up the kazoo. Amazon. Okay? It's gone to really shit in a lot of ways, Amazon and these companies, and how they want to control us and buy their digital media, and not wanting us to own our own products. And I think people need to wise up to that and find, even Google has it fixed. Google has it fixed because these companies pay millions of dollars in their search with Google. They pay millions of dollars to put, their sponsor. You look at Google, it goes down the list. You see how it's sponsored and stuff like that by Amazon, other companies, or anime or whatever. They don't want people to see where you can buy the physical copy and own your own media. They want it controlled. They pay Google X amount of money. So you can't own your own media. And you go to Ubisoft, you go to these gaming companies, you go to stupid Crunchyroll and how they ripped off customers, where they took it over, or else they deleted people's games and they had to pay everything for these games. And me, I would have got, that's what fraud is. That's fraud. Because we own that stuff. You can't just delete it and make people pay for the item again. That's what fraud is. That's the legal definition of fraud. And the banks will tell you this as well. That's fraud. So Amazon is like I told them, there's no reason to have Amazon anymore. You know, just get it through other companies or go to electronic companies. Actually go to the store. And a lot of people don't want to go to the store. They don't like the hassle. I hate it too. I don't like having to go and be around all these people. I don't. I was at Walmart yesterday, and I'm walking also back and forth as well with the almost broken toe and everything, so it's painful. Alright? So, and everybody's getting pissed off about how crowded everything is. And all getting to car accidents. You know, it's like being on the freeway, congestion. You know, going through Walmart, Best Buy or whatever at these different places. So you want to order just online. So I get that. But sometimes it's better to get stuff, just go there or order it from Amazon, not Amazon online, Best Buy online, or Walmart online. Thing is how many days it takes. If you don't have that, you get off of your ass and just go and get it. Yeah, I hate lines too. I hate lines. Nobody likes to be in line. Everybody hates it. I hate it. You hate it. We all hate it. We should have ice cream. Wait, liners. Have a good drink, I could go on, but let's get back to this.
Let's pay a really high premium. I don't think that's unfair.
It's not.
Building up our structure in JFK so we can hopefully mobilize a lot more and really impact productions this year.
They can afford it, yeah.
Amazon, we're fed up, we're done.
A lot of us don't want to go on strike. We want to work, but we want to work for fair wages. We want to work for at least $30 an hour.
Yes,
we
Osmond.
want to get adequate breaks so that we're not getting injured all the time. We want to be able to go to the bathroom and drink water without getting...
Holy fuck!
Go to the bathroom
Holy
and drink water?
Fuck!
Bro, these people...
Holy fuck, if somebody said I could do that, I'd go swinging off on them, dude. I'd be in jail, of course, but I'd be kicking their ass or something. Let me tell you, that would be it. That's the red line. That's it. I'm going, fuck you, bitch. I'm getting a treat. I'm going to the bathroom. You want you just wear diapers? I guess so.
Amazon's got to call the Pinkertons and shut this down. Yeah, before this gets out of control.
I hate the Pinkertons, man.
Come on.
Written up. And if we have to go on strike to make Amazon come to the table and give us the respect that we deserve, then we're going to do it.
That's what they did.
So apparently this has started.
Yes. Yes.
Building power for working people.
Thank you so much.
We'll see what happens, right?
For watching our video. If
yeah,
you'd like to see
I'll
more
link you all the
stories like
video.
this one, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel to get more Perfect Union.
You're paying $30 an hour?
And if you have any ideas for stories that you would like for us to investigate, just drop them in the comments below.
That depends.
I feel like paying...
The wages are different for each state. California, the dumbasses that raise minimum wage, it inflates prices on everything, on food and everything else. You're not supposed to be getting $20 an hour for minimum wage. You're not. You're supposed to earn your way up to gain $20, 25, 30, and stuff like that. The old days I used to be 4 people everybody getting the same pay. If you know anything about business, and I've taken business classes and stuff like that, so I know how stuff works with inflation, how prices go up when cost of living and stuff like that. And the poor stay poor. The rich are going to stay rich. But when you have minimum wage going up, especially in stupid California, it raises prices on all the food and everything else. And it makes it where you can't afford food as much. I can't. Never mind having a date. And the ladies get pissed. The ladies get pissed at me. And some of the ladies, even some adult stars, have said, they like to, get together with me and stuff like that. I don't even have all the money in the world for food. So, I just waiting for them to say, Tano hardcore sucks. Tano hardcore softcore. And I can see that happening. And I deserve it. I think I deserve it. I told them I actually deserve that. And I talked to some of their friends. And stuff like that. I'd actually deserve that. Car is not going to happen. Getting car is not going to happen. I take buses. Fuck getting a car. That's a luxury. You got to be rich to have a car. Gas going up. They're trying to pass a law that goes 30, 40 cents higher a gallon for this stupid BS green agenda thing that they got. And we have the cleanest air we've ever had. Now, if you're in a desert, it's never clean with all the dust and everything. And the desert air, it's never clean. Even if they say it is, it's not. That's fixed. But anyways, everybody, tell me what you think. Comment, stuff like that. Because now, could they have picked a better time? No, I don't think so, actually. Some of the news organizations were reporting this a day or two ago. I think that, if anything, you could blame the news. And not listening to the workers, maybe. But with drones and everything else, I think everyone's been fixated on that for obvious reasons and not what's happening here on Earth so much. Let's see. Let's see if he goes anywhere else on this. But I think that's the gist of that. I don't want to take all of his. Let's see here.
$30 an hour. I mean, that's a good amount of money. But yeah, in New York, what is this? $30 an hour in New York City is not crazy money. Was it in New York City?
Or was it? Yeah.
Well, what's the average?
Where is it at?
Let's just look it up.
Yes.
Average income in NYC. Okay, so.
Yeah, because
median income.
You need to look at
average salary in New York City. Median household income. Let's see if I can find it. Staten Island. It's so expensive. Yeah, no, I'm
New York.
So household is 76,000. Individual is 36. So, well, let's go ahead and do the math, right? And so, if you look at this and you have 30 times 40, and that's per week, right? And then you times this by,
round it out.
Let's say 51. That's still not that much money.
Yeah. That's
You're
nothing.
using median, not average? Yeah, but median is a better indicator because average factors in people like Donald Trump where median does not.
$75,000.
So median is actually a better indicator because of wealth disparity. So yeah, there we go. Plus tax. Yeah. So that's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah,
so
is.
Amazon workers officially began nationwide strike. Oh, here we go.
People are excited for this strike. We've been waiting for this day. We've been prepping for this day. This is the day that they get to see how strong we are.
This is our...
The young versus the old. You wonder, though. Because some people are desperate for jobs, they're not going to strike. That would be me.
Chance to truly make history.
Teamsters have voted to authorize a strike at 7 Amazon facilities.
I shouldn't say desperate. I'm desperate for work. If, obviously, I'm not going to take the BS that happens in some of these facilities. You know, if I were to come out swinging on people, telling me I can't take a leak or whatever, use the bathroom or get a drink of water. So, obviously, I can't say it.
Houses in Staten Island and Queens.
Better not be Austin.
Suburb of Skokie and 4 in Southern California.
Nope. Okay, good.
Amazon
We're fine.
Doesn't want us to realize the power that we have as Amazon workers.
I don't think that they have a lot of power in the long term, and I think that Amazon knows that. Amazon just has to wait them out until they can automate the systems and then get rid of these people. A lot of this is like unskilled, uneducated labor. Yeah, easily replaced, exactly.
It wouldn't be able
and I think
to
also
run
like
without us.
Amazon.
Here's another issue is that when people can't get their packages for Christmas, it will turn them against the unions. And I think the media does a really good job at turning people against unions.
They do.
Wage slaves are rising up. Wage slaves are
It's
rising
all
up. No, they're not.
Warfare. It's psychological warfare.
Scared because they know that with the power of the union, they're going to have to dish out what they owe.
Amazon needs to understand that there's real people behind these vans. There's real people in these warehouses, and they need to treat
Yeah, that's the problem. They're trying to fix that as soon as possible.
us with the dignity that we deserve.
These right here, we're fighting for our life.
We're fighting for our family.
We are Amazon Teamsters. We deliver the packages.
We make Amazon's profits.
We're demanding our fair share. We demand fair pay and safe jobs.
Yep. I don't see this happening. Yeah, I don't. I mean, maybe they'll pay them a little bit more, but that's it. Amazon's in the process of automation. My company is one of many that's making those assembly lines.
Wow.
With Amazon workers, I get it.
And that should be illegal. It should be illegal when so many Americans are hurting for jobs. And you also have illegals taking jobs for lower wages. You know, food companies have been firing people. They already have for lower wage people, illegal immigrants, stuff like that. So the stupid Congress does not represent the people. They don't. If anything, it's more dictatorship than what they do. It's just an act.
But when it's doctors or teachers that already get a huge wage, I don't. Yeah, I mean, teachers don't really get paid a lot of money. But let's see if there's any more news about this, and I'll look at it. Pray for Bezos. Yeah, he might lose 1% of his stock value from this. Amazon strike.
Pray for something else.
See if there's any more information about it. Oh, yeah. After arresting an Amazon driver who tried to stop his van to show support striking in NYC, police are now linking arms to protect the profits of Amazon and Jeff Bezos. No picture better illustrates the police's role to protect and serve capital.
He can pay the police. He has money to pay the police. I mean, these companies and stuff like that, you know, if the police don't feel like doing something, you just give them money and they'll think differently, you know. I look at Davos, you know. Switzerland is supposed to be, all right, they're supposed to be a neutral country. They're not. They have the World Economic Forum there that has world dictatorship plans going, BlackRock, stuff like that. And they have over 50,000 troops protecting those rotten people there. That while you eat synthetic food, no cow meat, they want you to eat insects. and stuff like that, because cow manure that goes into fertilizer to help make, healthy plants and stuff like that, vegetables and fruits that we eat every day. They say that gives off more carbon dioxide, monoxide, and I'm going off in a tangent, but everything's connected here. Everything's connected. With Bezos, he's with the WEF and everything else. It's crazy how they want everything to go AI and automated machines, and they don't want people working. They want people to just get a social security check in the future and not have a job and say, shut the fuck up, take this and shove it kind of attitude. That's what's going to be in the future. So,
not the people. I'm going to be honest. I completely agree with the police here. I think the police are totally in the right and the strikers are totally in the wrong. You don't get to obscure and prevent people's free movement.
Yeah, that I do.
In a free country, you can move and travel in a way that you want, unimpeded. And
yeah, when Lockheed had a strike and all these other places had a strike, you do need police for that. You don't have a right. I knew people that got killed. I know people that got killed, beat up, and stuff like that by stupid protesters, Teamsters, and that's where sometimes the mob has been involved. They get involved and tell them to go cutthroat. That's not okay. So, yeah. At Albertsons, I remember Albertsons, this happened. People got up. They got beat up. All right? Going on. They got beat up, and some people got killed for crossing picket lines and stuff like that in the past. So you're going to need the police here to let the people want to have a job, let them work. That's their decision. Fuck you. I'm not going to care about these protesters if they cross a line with physical violence against others that want to work it because they need to work. They need to put food on the table. They need to pay bills. Everybody does.
Just because you think that you have a strike or for whatever reason, you don't get to stop people from freely traveling the country. That's just it. It's not even a question, because the opposite is basically kidnapping, right? I mean, you can't hold people.
You're holding them hostage. You're holding them hostage is what you're doing.
Hostage. That's not how it works. And I think if people do that, like, obviously it's on Twitter, right? So like this type of comment is like very popular, but the reality is that you can't live in a world where people do that. And sensitive take, these people but are incapable of realizing their jobs will end one way or another. They're only delaying the inevitable. Oh yeah, they definitely are. Yeah, absolutely. And nope, you blocked the scab that crossed the picket line. Well, if you do that, but like what you're saying is that being a scab transcends the constitutional rights that you're owed and the law.
I hate these motherfuckers that say, oh, I got scab. You gotta work. Stop being a piece of shit and say scab like they're, a rat in a jail or prison. All right? I don't like Teamsters, these maggots that use these words to make people less than human, to make them look like shit, just for your own agenda. I see both sides. And when they only see one side in hurting others that cross a picket line so they can put food on their table and pay bills, that's why I say, fuck you. I don't care about you then either, So, I mean,
being in a union does not allow you to overrule the Constitution.
or laws.
That's
stuff.
not the way the world works. That's not the way the government works. That's not the way the country works. Listen, I understand that you think that you have a good cause and this all this matters. No, you're not above the law. Amazon tried to dampen the resolve of its striking workers, but it's denser than it was yesterday. There's a lot of them. Look at them. Damn. Wrong side of this one, my dude. Well, wait a minute. What did I say that wasn't true? Wrong side of this. How am I on the wrong side of this?
Yeah, how are you on the wrong side? How is that?
Yeah, I'm confused because when I look at it, I see people that are basically like you're preventing a person from traveling.
Yeah, you're preventing them from doing their job, getting products to people. I see both sides of this. I don't like the corruption of Amazon billionaires and multimillionaires, stuff like that, not caring for their own workers. People have a right to have a union, stuff like that. People have a right to get their fair share of pay. They deserve to get paid better and to have more off time. People have a right to go take a leak, use the bathroom, get a drink of water. They do. Okay, your body, the human body cannot endure not getting enough water. You get dehydrated. Talking from a nursing standpoint, healthcare standpoint, that is abuse. That's the very definition of abuse and stuff like that. Not letting them get water, stuff like that, having a snack break, lunch break, breaks, stuff like that. Because, like, say, imagine if some of these people are, diabetic. They're not going to get hired. Or you have to have compensation. And it's like, with me, sometimes I need sugar as well. I'm not diabetic. I could be hypoglycemic, though. There's a difference. So, anyways, I mean, with blood red lines that we cross, when you intimidate the other side, you attack their vehicles, smash in their windows. And sometimes they have gangs that go out and beat up on people that, just want to work. That's crossing a blood red line because you're like drawing blood on some of these people as well. So it's like
being pro-worker is important. Which worker? The worker who wants to work or the worker who doesn't want to work?
Yeah, you can't
because you've got to choose one or the other. So you think that because you have this viewpoint that you get to supersede the Constitution and like people's free rights. People have freedom of assembly. That's part of the First Amendment. You think that the ones who want a higher salary, so you think that wanting a higher salary allows you to transcend the Constitution. Is that correct? Yeah, I want you to explain it.
Explain.
Just say it. No, okay, here we go. Now we've got to wait. We've got to see what he's going to say. I'm sure it's going to be good.
Yeah, pro-workers.
I don't know anything about the Constitution. I know you don't.
You don't?
Okay, so anyway, let's see. I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with this. But I do think that if people aren't getting their packages on time for Christmas, that people will care a lot less about these workers. I also think that in general, the public doesn't.
They will think they won't care as much, but they have a right to do what they're doing because of abuse and neglect that's happening to these workers. And I see both sides of this. And when billionaires and millionaires don't care about their workers, which always happens. Not just Amazon, But you're not treating them with empathy and not caring about them. You're giving them time off to do things such as going to the bathroom, lunch breaks, snack breaks, stuff like that, and not paying them enough, going 12 hours or more depending. Some have only 11 hours, some have 12 hours, some have up to 16 hours or more that I know of, where they've gone 24 hours working at these sites. And then some, have a day off. And some of these places, you work a day, you have a day off. It depends what the worker and contract you have or whatever, what they call for at these distribution centers. But when you don't care about the workers, this is going to happen. So, anyways, let's move on to the drones. Well, here's one right here. No joke, I worked at Amazon a couple of years ago here in Las Vegas. A guy fell to his death in the middle of the warehouse. Management covered him up and we worked around him. It wasn't until forensics and police showed up. Got Hall's staying there. It wasn't until forensics and police showed up, shutting down the warehouse, that they shut down. They were told if we stopped and walked out the doors, it would be considered walking out on the job and quitting. I wish you would have put more information there about that. They were investigated. We were moved to a different warehouse until the other part was reopened. Nothing happened to management for that, which it should. Head should roll. So 150,000. Because people are desperate for jobs. And I don't think you have the real statistics. I doubt you do. I doubt you do. I work at Amazon. Brother, let me tell you. If you ever get the stomach rumbles and you need to do a number 2 and in the bathroom more than 8 minutes, they literally went to the restroom and asked if I'm in there, and then told me in the future to hold it till break. They'd be asked for ass kicking just about. Oh man. Keep in mind, I always make rate. Have been in there out of this world employees and have my photo on screens and piles of business bucks for my great work. But second I need to take a poop, I'm suddenly close to a write-up. Yep. Let me see here. I left Amazon as a safety officer whistleblower. Wow. They more than likely paid off OSHA. Yeah, they would. If they didn't see, guys not see something, I submitted years worth of safety complaints. I left after someone who spoke neither Spanish, he didn't word that right, something dangerous, as I was yelling for him to stop. Got a manager, and between the time I left and got manager, he took down a steel scaffolding, building a cart twice the weight limit of what's supposed to be on there. Twice the weight limit, that's not supposed to. 1 foot above guard bar, knocked a box loose, and hit a third driver party on the head. You are incorrect about wages. I used to make $24.50 to start at the building. Safety incidents from inferior employees and migrant hires, for lower wages, hires with lack of skill or safety, direction standards, keep injuring people, they keep getting sued, wages go down. I see the paperwork myself, and fuck the LDA, exactly, fuck LDA, non-disclosure agreement. So, got to. So there's a cover, obviously. OSHA. I can believe that they paid him off. They got the money to do that. And it's about productivity. OSHA doesn't want to shut down a whole facility, especially if OSHA employees need a package from that facility. They're not going to want to shut it down. Somebody dies, somebody gets hit, something non-legal happens. They'll look the other way if they get money too. That does happen. I can see that. I'm boycotting Amazon until next time I need to order something from Amazon. That's how it works, doesn't it? AMR, that's an ambulance company. Yeah. You don't think this is crazy? No, I don't. I work for a company called AMR, American Medical Response. We are 911 ALS, ambulance service, ambulatory service. You have an emergency, our paramedics show up. Guess what? Our medics start at only $23. EMT start at 17. Wow, that's terrible. And they work, 60, 72 hours in California. That's terrible. That's like minimum wage. It's only $3 above minimum wage. And only 17. That's ridiculous. Let's read more. What's even more absurd is Gavin Newsom posted a bill saying healthcare providers will start a $25 minimum. What about ambulance drivers? That includes anyone at a hospital in a janitorial. Oh, that's bullshit. Oh, God. I mean, they work hard, janitors do. But you're supposed to earn your way to get more money. Newsom is such a piece of shit, I swear to God. He is oh God, what he does. We don't get that luxury. Let's see. Guess what? He's deemed our 911 emergency service not to be in the healthcare field. We don't get that luxury. $17 an hour for our EMTs. That's total bullshit. That's complete bullshit. Osman is in an automate all jobs, yeah. Also, the employer doesn't have to worry about money ever again. That is, you can make that argument. He doesn't have to worry about having a job ever again. He's got, millions upon millions of dollars. So he doesn't have to worry for the rest of his life. He's paid up. Yes, exactly. What he says here. Every write-up for drinking water, going to the bathroom, I think even, just having a snack or something like that, should be considered recorded proof of a human rights violation. Facts. that one too. Let's see, I got a friend and he has on the UK. All these problems don't exist because it's straight up illegal. UK has different laws there. But I don't believe that stuff like that doesn't happen. Let's see. For real. Like what problems? Yeah. Yeah, UK does have other problems. A dictatorship there. Yeah, they do. They have a dictatorship in the UK. Let's see. I broke my back at Amazon. The problem is they tell you to be safe, but also push you to be quick. But you can't have it both ways. The quicker you push workers, the more accidents happen. That is fact. That is fact. Let's see. I want to hear from the workers. I want to hear what they have to say rather than just, content creators and stuff like that, because that's how we need to educate ourselves, and see what's going on. We can't just do it from third person or whatever. Also, the fact that they could pay all that mandatory overtime means that they could put more, but just want to do this for years. It's not making sense. Mandatory overtime means they pay more but don't want to. Okay, I see what you said. Let's see, I'll put the money to fix your tools, equipment. Actually, let's see here. What does he have to say? I see many unions as pros and cons. Exactly what I was talking about. Unions have favoritism, and there's corruption in unions as well. I know firsthand, even from what people in the highest up in unions have told me about what they do should be illegal. It's supposed to be illegal, but they get away with it. I've heard. So, and before, I don't know how it is now, organized crime used to be involved with that, mob. Where there's money to be had, there to be into that stuff. I would say me use pros and cons. If they like you, you'll get a steady gig. Otherwise, exactly. All seniority based. Yeah, it doesn't have to do all the time with effort, how good a worker you are. It's about who you know, privileged people sometimes. If you're liked by seniority, you're going to go places. If you have a fight with somebody in seniority, or you get negative response from people that know higher ups, it's a mob mentality in unions. And so there's good and bad. There's a lot of shitty stuff that happens. I gotta see here. Let's see. Osmond needs to stop beating this job will be automated soon drum. It'll be partially automated for sure, but not fully. Just wait. As a former sort delivery center associate at Cecil, Pennsylvania, I can say that information can only do so much. Amazon warehouses will always need people. Osmond doesn't understand how intensive manual labor requires a human. Yeah, it does, but the way technology is going, I see that changing. Especially if we're robots can be used in surgeries and stuff like that. So until automation has actual freely thinking, they do. There is AI robots with superior. Yes, they do. They already have that. And problem solving, they already have that. We're not decades away. This is happening right now. Until they be fully automated. Anyways. I want to get to these drones right now. Please leave a comment. Please leave a like. Tell me what you think about this stuff. I want to hear from everybody as well. Let me see here. Let's get to the drones.
Thank you, Brittany. Just one day after drones were banned from flying over 22 areas in New Jersey deemed critical infrastructure, a similar ban is now in New York.
Yeah, the Federal Aviation Administration announced temporary bans at 30 locations in New York from now until January 18th. And it comes as many people are still trying to figure out where exactly a lot of these drones are coming from.
Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles live in Astoria, Queens, with
Darla.
this story. Darla.
Well, Lauren and Liz, this substation here in Astoria, Queens is one of those 30 critical infrastructure locations identified by the FAA where there will now be a temporary flight restriction. And this is...
There always was a ban. Civilians are not supposed to be using drones over those facilities anyway. But they're not going to mention that, of course. This doesn't hurt the This isn't actually how the government's involved in this. This only hurts civilians, but been over that.
If this happens, it's effective today, and if this happens, any drone activity detected in this area will be subject to any administrative penalty, or it can be shot down with deadly force if deemed an imminent threat. Now, here's a map of those 30 critical infrastructure locations across the state. The majority of them are on Long Island. There are 18 across Nassau and Suffolk counties. As for the 5 boroughs, there are 2 in the Bronx, 2 in Queens, 2 in the city of Manhattan, and 1 in Brooklyn, as well as 1 in Yonkers, Westchester, and upstate. Now, this ban, again, will be in effect until January 15th. And what is important by identifying these critical infrastructure locations is that it lays the groundwork legally for federal and state partners to intercept any drone activity. As we all know, within the last month,
This is all bullshit. These drones... Most of these drones that are doing this, they can't track them. They cannot track their chatter, their IDs and stuff like that. This is where you can't believe the media. It's all BS and stuff like that, what they're doing.
There has been growing concern from New Yorkers and elected officials about the increased number of drone sightings at night. But as it stands, legally, only the DOJ, Homeland Security, and the Secret Service.
Circus.
Sorry, it's pretty cold out here.
She had it right. The circus. This is a circus. That's what the news is doing and the government. It's all a scam. Oh God. I mean, some of it is human drones, no doubt. I'm not saying that they're not, but this is deep black operation. Okay, this is.
Can legally intercept these drones, but our own Bill Ritter sat down with Governor Hochul this morning to discuss this very issue.
Places like Times Square, City Hall, the Capitol, give me the power as governor to say that's restricted airspace. I don't want drones over that space because I don't know whether they're there for good or for bad, and I don't want to find out they're for bad and we didn't do something about it.
Are you in favor of shooting them down? Some people say that's what we should do.
They should be brought down if they are a threat. Absolutely.
Now, earlier this week, Governor Hochul announced that the state would be getting actually drone detection systems from some of our federal partners that look like the ones you see in the video here. Now, these drone detection systems can detect the origin, make, model, and pilot registration of the drones. And so that has been in place all week to help deal with this increased number of drone sightings. But keep in mind,
you already have the FAA. They already had this. They already had this technology to do that anyway. They already had that, but they're not saying that.
The National Security Advisor, John Kirby, says there are 1 million legally licensed by the FAA hobbyist and commercial drone licenses. So that's why at this point they don't believe any of this activity is nefarious. But again, this is a first step into identifying.
That's what they're trying to make it. How the news is spinning it. How different lawmakers in Congress. I'm glad Rand Paul shot that bill down, that bullshit law, where they want to surveil American people with these drones. Don't trust the news. They're to put their spin on it. As well as politicians. Do not believe the BS. They know that this isn't, civilians doing this. This is a government thing. This is a worldwide government thing as well. This is worldwide government thing that's going on. It's happening in other countries, not just the U.S., etc. Let's go see what people have to say here. What he says here. It's always temporary, like they said with the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was about spying on Americans, though, more than foreign adversaries and foreign threats, though. It's always temporary, and then it's permanent. And then it's everywhere, which it is. I've always been right about this. I've always been right. Everywhere, and then it's everything. Yep. Kind of like Patriot Texas airport security. The biggest threat to our safety has been our own government. Our own government is the biggest threat to us in our democracy. It isn't so much foreign threats as it is our own government and what they let happen. And how they want to restrict freedom of speech, information, and how politicians want to circumvent freedom of speech and information, how we get it, what we can say, etc. In so many ways, I've been over this. Past decades, I've talked about this as well. So, that's a like right there. Let's see. I'll go ahead and let's see. Drone-free zones, kind of like gun-free zones. Only law-abiding owners get punished, and they are the only ones that respect the rule. Let's see here. Here's one here. Why doesn't federal government take this seriously? Something needs to be done about all these melodramatic idiots. Yeah, pretty much drama queens. Politicians being drama queens, as well as the news. As well. Stop harassing innocent drone operators. Yeah. She said secret circus. She did say that. Yeah. That's what it is. This is a secret circus. This is. Yeah. 2 weeks in, still even local officials don't know. Politicians, so-called, don't know. But some do. There's a huge cover-up, a huge psyop that's happening here. And this is going to hurt nobody but the people and civilians. Let me see. Don't know. Next, these drones are huge. The no regular person has one. You can see the difference. Yeah. Regular person do not have drones the size of SUVs and buses. They don't have the money. They can't do that. What we can get is a tiny little drone like JLR sometimes shows on there. Huge psyop with this. Huge scam. It's good to see most people, well, not most, but so many people are awakened to this conspiracy that really the politicians, it's really politicians are creating this conspiracy. I mean, everybody conspiracy theorists. But when you have politicians warmongering and creating conspiracies as well as the news doing this, they're not getting called down enough on the scams that they are initiating on. And that's the big problem that I have. This is actually a good question here. It'll absolutely affect legal drone operators at businesses. What if an FAA Part 107 certified drone operator is hired to survey property or property lines? They'd have to tell the FAA and law enforcement and everything. There are things that legal drones do. They are unable to perform that work in those areas until the temporary bans are lifted. Let me see. She said circus. This is a circus. Gotta get these. The circus, you had it right the first time. Yeah. And what he says here, Ronnie Myers. And what about the government military drones, which is the big problem here? Not civilian drones? What about them? Because this is what started the whole thing, is the military, government drones doing this. The secret operations that's happening with stuff that cannot be tracked, which emits no signals, they can't be tracked. And the news is really scamming the people on this. So, let's go, here.
Now, Leroy Chiao, former NASA astronaut. He was a commander on the International Space Station as well. Chiao has flown several space missions. 3 of them lived on the International Space Station for 6 months. Joins us live here on the Hill once again. Always nice to see you, Leroy. Always fascinating to speak with you. You know what's up there in our skies. You're one of the rare who've been up there and lived on the International Space Station. This is skies of a different kind, but from your perspective.
And they have UFOs going by the space station all the time. The thing is, NASA likes to cut the feed when it happens, or they airbrush the stuff out later on in videos. So, you know about that.
Sir, what do you think is going on?
It is pretty mysterious. It's hard to believe that our government doesn't really know what's going on. When these things come up, at first blush to me, it seems like it's some kind of a military program, our military program. And if it's not that, then it gets a little more scary. It's like, well, is this some kind of a bad actor state probing us and seeing what they can do? It seems like it's way too widespread and organized to be some kind of prank, unless somebody's got a lot of money to spend on that.
This is way too organized. This is the government, world government, that's doing this. This isn't stupid civilian drones. This is not.
And so it's hard to say. It's, the government, our government has denied any knowledge of it or that it's any one of their operations. So I'm just as mystified as you are, actually.
You're mystified, but you also had an incident yourself, right? What happened?
Well, that's right.
What did you see and what do you think it was?
Right, and that was in August. I was flying back from Colorado, and I just refueled in the panhandle of Texas in my small airplane, and I was flying back to Houston on an instrument flight plan, and we were in clear air, and I was about 9,000 feet, and suddenly, out of nowhere, these two big metallic spherical orbs, one on top of the other, about 3 feet in diameter each, went zipping by.
Orbs are... This time, that seems to be UFOs, not drones. But
the left side of my airplane, right underneath, about 20 feet away, and I got a good look at them, only for a second. And it happened so quick, there wasn't even a chance to to get scared. But it could have been a bad result if they had actually hit me. So
what do you think it was?
That was mysterious. It wasn't on radar. Air traffic control certainly didn't alert me. It wasn't on my display that shows other airplanes that are participating with the FAA required transponders. So I don't know what it was. My first guess is it's some kind of a military program, a drone of some kind. But it's hard to say, right?
Do you think they knew that they were messing around with someone who used to be up on the International Space Station?
Frankly, I think whoever was operating the drone wasn't aware that I was there, right? So
it doesn't sound like it's probably a drone unless it was government, re-engineered technology. Could be a UFO or something. I mean, you never know. It could be. Sorry.
It's just kind of dumb luck that they didn't hit me, and gosh, it kind of makes me a little more, wary as a pilot, and I'm keeping my eyes out a little more outside than I used to.
Is the government doing enough, Leroy?
What's that?
Is the government doing enough?
I'm sorry, you're cutting out a little bit.
Is the government doing enough? Do you think they're doing enough to basically get to the bottom of this?
I think they could be a little more transparent. I think they could tell us what they know. I mean, and like I said, if they really don't know, that's a little more disconcerting, right? I mean, shouldn't they know? I mean, how could we have the best, most advanced military and capabilities, technological capabilities in the world, and if they don't know, that's even more disconcerting.
Called bullshit.
Leroy Chiao, former NASA, former commander of the International Space Station, had an incident of his own, and of course, is asking.
But those are UFOs and not drones. I mean, that's the thing. Let me see. We're gonna go here, and I'm going to limit some stuff.
Some of his operators.
So this is he was on Fly on the Wall with Dana Carvey and David Spade. I'm gonna limit my stuff as much as possible to what Steve Greer has to say, because this is also serious to me. We can make jokes, and I love joking around. I love making funny a lot, and most people don't know that about me, but I love making jokes. Any friends that I've had, would tell you the same thing. I love making jokes on stuff, making puns out of everything, because I feel the world is a pun a lot of times. But for this, I wanted this to be more serious, and I don't like celebrities very much. They don't know what I know as well, and I also don't like where their money gives them special access to things that we normal people don't have access to. But let me see here. Listen, I think this is I try and keep what they say out of it as much as possible. This is also theirs as well. So
and operations dealing with so-called UFO, very serious. So there's a group of guys who I've known that nobody knows is going to happen, but there's a covert rogue military.
I get this right here.
Recording this.
Yeah, you can start because we know what we're going to ask you.
I'm talking to Ted Cruz, right? Ted, he's on now. Okay, I'll ask him that.
Oh, good. Sure. Fire away, Ted.
No. Anyway, so is your head spinning, or you're looking at this from a completely different point of view than almost all of us in America? So what are your just basic thoughts about this phenomenon of things in the sky?
There you go.
Well, I mean, as you know, I've predicted this sort of thing would happen for 30 years. There's a covert rogue military component that is behind all these drone sightings. Some of them are drones, some of them are a little more advanced.
Drone sightings.
And most of them are part of a rogue military operation to basically create a psychological warfare effect in the media and in the public in advance of something that nobody knows is going to happen, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. So there's a group of
the psychological part is working, by the way. We're all scared.
We're all terrified.
Yeah, you should be. So this is very serious. So there's a group of guys who
this is why just shut the fuck up and let them speak.
I've known for about 18, 19 months, who are senior intel and aerospace operatives out of some desert locations. I'm not going to mention where they are. I've been to them, where most of the R&D testing and operations dealing with so-called UFOs, UAPs occur. Now, this guy, the main guy, has 6 other black sites, as they're called, operational sites that are very secretive, and are these particular ones are ones that are rogue and been running illegally for a long time. He is coming forward in the next 30 days or so, maybe less, with the evidence and unmasking himself and some of his operators, special forces guys, about what's going on at these sites, and with evidence. In other words, he's been operational when they have targeted and downed extraterrestrial vehicles. He's been present when they've tested man-made UFOs, which are mostly what people see, that are essentially anti-gravity craft. And he's been present when there are a number of illegal operations that have occurred, including the incidental hitting and downing of civilian private planes that go up over this test area after a temporary flight restriction has gone up. So there are innocent people who have been murdered, and there's no evidence that they were hit. So these are serious guys. The main guy I've been dealing with, I know some of the others, has been in those.
I think people would be I've known about this for decades, about civilians, people that worked in aerospace and military that have just been killed to keep UFOs, ETs a secret, and other programs, secret programs as well, including accidents that have happened in military, different arms and branches and stuff like that in the military. And they'll say that an accident has happened to them. They'll use that. They'll say that it's suicide. They'll say that it was a car accident. And you know how to follow up and see what happens when this happens to people like them. That's how, they cover things up. They could threaten morticians. They could pay people off. threaten their lives, their family, and stuff like that. Kids, grandkids, etc. To shut them up.
His operations for 29 years since the 1995 period, but he was very young. At that time, he didn't know he was involved in an illegal and unsanctioned operation. He does now, and they're fed up with it, and they want to come forward. Now, in advance of that, because what he's going to bring forward would be, I understand if he can get this done in the next 3 weeks or so, would be the videos, the evidence, the proof, not only of the NHI, as they call them, non-human intelligence craft and bodies and beings, but of the man-made ones, and also of some operations
they called it, ETs, EVEs, extraterrestrial biological entities, NHIs. They changed the acronyms quite a bit, so people are thrown off in investigating this stuff. They do the same thing with UFOs. They call them UAPs, which I hate that because they're not UAPs. I mean, unknown aerial phenomena is different from UFOs, which are objects. There's a difference. So I get pissed off because the government's always going to try and change the acronyms of what UFOs are. They've done it many times. So
involved the transport of humans in experimental operations from distressed areas around the world. Now, as you know, we have a whistleblower who was a Marine who came across this in 2009 in Indonesia after there was an earthquake that involved the transport of humans in experimental operations from distressed areas around the world. Now, as you know, we have a whistleblower who was a Marine who came across this in 2009 in Indonesia after there was an earthquake and tsunami. And he came across an operation of what looked like an octagonal disc that was about 300 feet across, size football field, that was levitating above a clearing in the jungle. And his platoon came across this. They were almost killed by these operators who were American, but did not look like they were any part of any armed forces insignia or uniform. Yeah. And they had crated up and were transporting humans who were barely alive. And they said, look, you can come with us. And then those were moved over into, we found later, experimental programs at some of these STIFs, these subterranean facilities, underground bases. So all of this is a very...
I've heard about this from guys and known some guys that have gone into these underground bases or different checkpoints, and they could go underground miles, 8, 10 miles, some of them I've heard, underground. We're able to go underground a lot more than people think. When you go deep, subterranean, it gets really hot where metals start to melt. It doesn't get colder, it gets hotter deep under there usually. And so we have to use new technology. Some of these are re-engineered ET tech from extraterrestrial metals, and we mix them with ours. And universities are involved in some of this stuff as well. We asked them what can be done with this metal, stuff like that. It becomes re-engineered, and we use them in deep underground, subterranean or derps, deep underground. This happens. We have underwater bases as well. That's over 8 miles, 18 miles, or whatever. Below the ocean, not some of it below the ocean floor and some of it above the ocean, but it's done 16 to 18 miles in some places I've heard. So some 8 miles, it depends where we have them. But
complex story. They have the goods, they have the proof. This will be the biggest disclosure related to these sort of issues in history. Well, I say it's going to be the biggest disclosure in human history, period. So in advance of that, these fascists and criminals that have, at the core of these covert operations, have been launching these sort of decoy drone events, and also
real quick, and I didn't rewind a bit and go back over this, but at these derps, subterranean bases, is where we have ETs and humans working together with their technologies, and a hybrid human alien inbreeding program happening as well. That's been happening for a long time. Me and him disagree on a lot of this. He says that they're humans made to look like ETs. I know that some of these are ETs doing it as well. So, but let's move on.
Orbs, people are seeing these orb-like things. Those aren't extra-humans who were barely alive, and they said, look, you can come with us. And then those were moved over into, we found later, experimental programs at some of these STIFs, these subterranean facilities, built by these operators who were American, but did not look like they were any part of any armed forces insignia or uniform. And they had crated up and were transporting humans who were barely alive. And they said, look, you can come with us. And then those were moved over into, we found later, experimental programs at some of these STIFs, these subterranean facilities, underground bases. So all of this is a very complex story. They have the goods, they have the proof. This will be the biggest disclosure related to these sort of issues in history. Well, I say it's going to be the biggest disclosure in human history, period. So in advance of that, these fascists and criminals that have, at the core of these covert operations, have been launching these sort of decoy drone events, and also orbs. People are seeing these orb-like things.
Yeah.
Those aren't extraterrestrial either. 100% of it's man-made. And we can unpack that. Then this is a huge problem, because this is going to happen during this transition before the next president comes in. I've been, doing kind of shuttle briefings from London to the incoming presidential team and the existing leaders at the Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committee. So I've just been going flat out, for the last few months, because we've known about this for some time. Now, this last flurry of all this activity, there are various reasons I think are being given inside out of Peterson Air Force Base and a couple other operational facilities, that these drones are part of a black budget project because they're sniffing out potentially a dangerous weapon that's gone loose or something like that. Now, I've heard that from several very good, highly placed folks in the intelligence community. That could also be a misdirect to create panic and concern. But I do know that this is very serious. It's not just people misidentifying small aircraft. And these actually are part of a covert rogue military and corporate organization that I've been blowing the whistle on for 30 years. In fact, the way I knew this operation was illegal was when I briefed President Clinton's first CIA director on the matter, and on December 13th, 1993. So it's 31 years ago this past week. And he and the president had no access or knowledge of these programs. And remember, my uncle and other people I knew worked Northrop Grumman and these Lockheed Skunk Works programs, and I had all the evidence already.
This is how we know truth, and I know truth, what's going on, is that I've had people that I know on the inside knowing about UFOs, ETs, and re-engineered programs. I've seen some of the stuff personally. That's how I know. And you make deductions, and you see how corrupt our government is, and the lies they spew out on all these other programs and bills that's supposed to be helping the American people, and they put a lot more money into their own personal projects. and programs, private programs, and stuff like that. Pork barrel spending. But it's
in 1993, and so at that point we did conclude that the operations dealing with this subject, even though it's the butt of a lot of jokes and whatnot, little green men, haha, that is actually being run very secretively, but also illegally without the oversight of the Congress or the president. Now, there are people embedded in the White House, National Security Council, Congress, who are operatives who actually are there to gaslight and deceive the senior members of the Senate and the House. But for the most part, it has gone unsupervised since about 1957 to 1959, when this organization decided to tell Eisenhower and his folks to go jump in the lake. And they took all these projects deep black, meaning illegal. And there is a legal budget of the United States. It's the black budget that only the president and a handful of senators and congressmen see. But this is beyond that. That's beyond their oversight.
That's part of the Intelligence Committee and stuff like that. And they go behind closed doors and keep secrets from you guys, the truth. And, they go behind closed doors, classified stuff. It's all bullshit meant to deceive the American people and not knowing the truth. This isn't about UFOs, ETs. This is about everything else that happens. Okay? Plus $200 million hush fund to keep, certain things quiet about what senators and people of Congress have done that may be illegal and stuff like that.
Supervision. So you can imagine how dangerous that is. And we're not talking a trivial amount of money. I'd say since the late 50s, 60s, somewhere on the order of $8 to $10 trillion have gone into those kind of projects from various agencies and departments. So, we're talking, what's that, a third of our national debt. But the other problem, and this is the biggest one, I just might as well drop this bomb at the beginning.
Absolutely.
No, I haven't started
no
yet.
No pun
bro.
intended.
Yeah, bro, I ain't started yet. So what has happened is that if you can visualize 75 years of some of the most brilliant scientists and engineers on planet Earth, who sometimes identify in high school, college, postgrad, are pulled into these covert programs to study the extraterrestrial material, meaning the craft, the technologies, and what have you. By late 1950s, there were operational man-made UFOs that were anti-grav type devices. And we have schematics of them. We have images of them.
Yes.
And people often will see those and think it's alien. I go, oh, no, it isn't.
Yeah,
my uncle's company, Northrop Grumman, built that one, the Triangle, right?
Skunk Works.
Or Raytheon, or Lockheed Skunk Works. Yeah. So now we get this. Now go forward 75 years and that kind of money and brain power studying this kind of material.
I need to be careful because of copyright BS, and I might be forced to take this to other platforms and stuff, but the American people need to know that Congress and politicians, all this is a scam with the drones. This is such a bullshit scam, and this is all a diversion. We do have like a world government system in place happening with this scam. This is happening all around the world, not just the U.S. Not just the U.S. And people talk about dirty bombs and nukes on the loose. And let me tell you, if that were the case, law enforcement and joint tactical operations teams, the FBI, Homeland Security, there'd be chatter everywhere on the ground. You'd see blocks being cut off. Everybody would know about it. And the technology we'd have and find these devices. You have CCTV cameras everywhere in these cities that can track stuff as well. You have facial recognition. You have AI that can see people and track people. There's so much BS that I call. And when it said radioactive, that had to do with medical equipment. You know, with something as small as a Kleenex. It's a Tano Kleenex device. By the way, Kleenex says bless you, by the way. You have an allergy, you need to sneeze, or whatever else. Take a tissue and bless you, everybody.
And you have some technologies that are in the hands of these rogue and criminal elements, there's no other way to word it, that are way beyond the power of, say, a thermonuclear weapon or something like that, because you're dealing with being able to move across space-time at multiples of this.
Yeah, we have those. A lot of people. Now, if you're around the high-low deserts in California, or if you're around some secret facilities, and sometimes, you know, the Navajo, some tribal areas in the Southwest, people go missing. There are UFOs, re-engineered technology happening. Sometimes you're going to see re-engineered craft that we have. And I've always said that we have dozens and dozens of these craft. We have our own squadrons of UFO re-engineered craft. And it's actually a lot bigger than I thought. Where, you know, they could just take over the world's skies. It's a lot bigger than anybody thinks.
Speed of light, all kinds of advanced tech. And those can be used in what are called deceptive indications and warnings or false flag operations. So some of what you see with this sort of phenomenon, occasionally it will be actually what they call NHI or non-human intelligence. I'd say 80, 90% of the time it's ours, but very advanced. Now, some of it's clunky, like our old-fashioned drones with rotors, and some of them are loud that have been reported because they have regular conventional engines. There's some of the objects that have been put up over some of these sites in their military installations are not so prosaic, and they're advanced. And this is why some members of Congress and even people in the Pentagon think, oh, well, maybe it's an adversary or maybe it's from outer space. It isn't. It's all from this rogue group because they have technologies that at this point in 2024 would almost be indistinguishable from an actual extraterrestrial vehicle. Not quite, but very advanced.
Yeah, it'll always be, I should cut it here to avoid copyright or whatever, because I mean, the thing is, I'm doing this because of the stuff that I know, my experiences, you know, and people that have worked at secret installations and have said, like at Plant 42 Lockheed, you know, in Palmdale, where they say we had the 47 UFO crash there. We had that saucer, or one of those that crashed around there from New Mexico. It wasn't just one crash. There were many crashes. There still are. Because some of, even the rocks and the energy that some of the rocks and the energy that it gives off can mess up with ET technology and stuff like that. So it messes with their tech. But I it's just I want the people to know the truth about what's happening. It's on a global scale, not just the U.S. This is a huge scam that's going on. This is about hurting really legal abiding citizens this is a misdirection, deflection, gaslighting, warmongering, say we need to, limit what people could do with drones. And a lot of people are setting up drones to do their own investigations of what these drones are. And some, could be ETs, some are re-engineered, government, stuff like that, world government. And some is just government drones, or corporate drones, business drones, and farmers, stuff like that, using their drones to look at crops, dust crops as well, to keep insects from destroying crops. It's just the truth needs to be put out there, but I don't see really anyone commenting or anything. It's just I'm doing my part in the truth and stuff like that because it needs to be put out there about this BS and everything that's going on. Like I said, it's all three things happening in the skies. And it's not just New Jersey. It's not just, parts of... it's all over the place. It's happening around the world. So, anyways, leave a comment. Leave a like. Tell me what you think, everybody. Take care.